Hello and welcome to The Generational Gamer. Today I'm going to talk about how I would fix Nintendo Switch Online. I got the idea after seeing a video by Mad Little Pixel this morning. I don't know him, I do like his stuff, so I'm going to put a card in the upper right and you can check it out for yourself. Apparently Nintendo is looking for a manager to overhaul Nintendo Online. That being said, this got me to thinking, how would I fix the service? While I would absolutely love to work for Nintendo, as I've been a lifelong fan, chances of me actually applying for this job are pretty slim because we're on opposite coasts. But Nintendo, if you ever do see this video and you want my ideas, my email is in the description. In this video, I will provide clear and concise information and justification as to why I think my ideas would serve Nintendo well. Let me start with what Nintendo is currently doing well. The price is very reasonable. It's $20 a year. If you have a family, it's $35 a year. Of course, I'm rounding up. It also has a very child-friendly function. So many people have complained, particularly the gamers, like the real gamers, have complained about the fact that you have to use a cell phone in order to be able to communicate online. I think this is absolutely phenomenal as a parent. As a gamer, not so much. But as a parent, it's really beneficial because if I don't want my child to communicate with other players online, I just don't provide a phone or an iPad or whatever. And this way I know that my child cannot communicate with somebody. Because ultimately, the gaming experience online is a good portion of the game these days in many cases. So I would love my child to be able to play online. And he certainly likes playing it. You all met Hit Point. So what would I change if I had my way? I have a 5-point plan. First and foremost, the entire script needs to be flipped. The Switch started off with a free online service. And then we're told a year and a half or so later that, okay, so what you had for free before, well, we're going to charge you $20 for that now. And then we're going to provide you this one app that has retro games on it. Well, what if somebody doesn't care about retro games? What if it's a younger person who has no clue what an NES game is, or looks at it and goes, man, I don't want to play that, that looks like crap. And that's entirely possible. Those games, although they've aged pretty well in comparison to the early Polygon games, some people may not have any interest in them. So why charge for that? So I contend with the people who have registered systems from the early days when it was free, they become grandfathered in, so then they no longer have to pay for a basic service that does not include the Nintendo Online. Factoring that key element in at the end, split the service. Like Xbox Live has its basic service and then has its premium service. Same deal with PSN and PSN Plus. And this way, if you don't want to have the retro games, you don't have to. And you still have the online service, particularly for those who started with the console in the days when it did not have a fee. Regarding the communication techniques, keep the one we currently have, with the cell phone or tablet as a means of communication within an online game. But set up an alternate method that must be enabled by the parent to enable just a flat-out headphone connecting into the device, or even Bluetooth. So that being said, the existing one would be more child-friendly, where the other one is more friendly towards the hardcore gamer, who wants to get really into their Mario Kart and yelling at strangers and all that other good stuff. Hey, everyone does it. Regarding the Nintendo Retro Collections, we've got the NES Classic, we've got the SNES Classic, and then we've got the compilation of games that are currently on Nintendo Switch Online. It could be handled in a number of different ways. One, simply designate apps for each system. Virtual Console had a great collection of games, and where is it? It's on the Wii now, which has been discontinued, or the Wii U, which is probably going to be discontinued. So all those purchased games, yes, you'll have your license, but you don't really have anywhere you can put them. I contend you take the library on the NES Classic and the SNES Classic and immediately import it into the Switch. Even call it NES Classic, SNES Classic. That being said, you'd immediately have that same library. These consoles aren't going to be available soon anyway, so you might as well import it. It would be motivation, especially for those who want the classic consoles but ultimately will not be able to get one. In addition to that, the N64 games, and GameCube if it's possible, they're large discs in comparison to N64 games, but add the N64. At the very least, add the N64 games that are on the Virtual Console. They've already been emulated, they already work, we have already seen them work for the Virtual Console on the Wii and the Virtual Console on the Wii U. Even add WiiWare games. Again, they're already there, assuming the licenses can be maintained. But if the licenses can't be maintained, then focus just on Nintendo licenses. In which case, the cost should be minimal, one would think. Going back to the Virtual Console, look at other systems. Sega may be a little difficult right now because they're releasing compilation after compilation. They just had one on the Switch, and they have a Genesis Classic on the horizon. But TurboGrafx, well, it's owned by Konami, and although I'd love to see every Castlevania ever released on the Virtual Console, or whatever it could potentially be called, may not be a possibility. But think about this for a second. Castlevania Rondo of Blood was just re-released on the PlayStation as part of the Requiem package. This was on the Virtual Console years ago as one of the import lines, and it was converted to English. It was probably just the same emulation of the PSP game, but you know what? Beggars can't be choosers. In many cases, people never played the original Japanese version, so having it there is ideal. You've got Castlevania Dracula X on the Super NES, which was not on the SNES Classic, but it is on the Virtual Console. It's still available today. Why not include all that content, assuming Konami signs off on it? I can't imagine why they wouldn't license it, given that it's basically easy cash for old games and they don't have to develop anything new. My next point is, much like PlayStation Plus, offer a couple freebies every month. It doesn't have to be anything high quality. I mean, PlayStation Network does offer full games sometimes, but it could be even something simple. A free indie game, or maybe even something from the Japanese store that the Americans don't get or the Europeans don't get. You know, it's just something to consider. Anything that's free, make it tied to that plan or the family plan, and then if it lapses, then it's no longer available. That's exactly what the PlayStation Plus does. My PlayStation Plus membership has lapsed several times, and while I can't download anything that's available for that month, the minute I reconnect with PlayStation Plus, I'm now able to access the content that was previously locked. So it is possible. It would be a really good idea, at least in my humble opinion, so it's just something to consider. My final point is anything that's on a family plan, allow it to be shared. One of the things I've observed with my Switch is that I've purchased plenty of things digitally, and then when HitPoint wants to use it, I can't use it at the same time, because the minute I start using it, it locks him out and puts it in pause mode or whatever it's called. I have two PlayStation 3s in the house. If I play on one and my kid plays on the other, we can play the exact same game simultaneously, and there's really no problem because there's two active licenses for me. I would love to see something like that on the Nintendo, at least across the family plan. And again, if you can't authenticate the family, then you don't allow it to work. The PlayStation isn't going anywhere, it's always connected, so it's a little bit different, I get that. But it's just something else to consider. So, thank you for watching the video. Nintendo, if you ever see this, I would love to answer questions if you ever have any. But to anybody who does watch it, if you do like this video, please consider checking out some of the other ones. If you like those videos, please consider liking and subscribing. It'll really help us out. Anyway, that's all for me. I will be following this up with a blog post on our website, which will also be in the description. Have a good day.